This week on Hooligan Nation, have you ever felt like you may have missed an entire decade of good music? Well, we did, and that's why we're reviewing some of what we think is great music from the 90s. So stay tuned, because you got
Nothing to lose.
No, you don't. You ain't got nothing to lose. It's only an hour of your life.
You wanted the best. Well, they retired. So you got two dudes in a garage.
Talking Kiss.
Welcome to the Hooligan Nation, a KISS-Centric Podcast, the podcast where the riffs are loud, but our opinions are louder. I'm Anthony.
I'm Rocco.
Yes, you are. You are him. What's up, hooligans?
What's up, hooligans?
If you're watching this episode, Father Rocco and I are currently in Las Vegas, the beautiful Las Vegas, for the KISS Cruise Landlocked event. But we wanted to bring you something interesting and entertaining while we were away. So we decided to review another decade because the 80s was so much fun. This time we went with the 90s. And we went with the 90s because we both feel like a few of the albums and bands slipped through the cracks during the decade, mostly because the music was overshadowed by grunge, new metal, rap, and pop country. So we will be skipping all of our normal segments due to filming in advance for our trip. Part 1 of our review of the 90s will premiere on November 14th, and Part 2 will premiere on November 21st. We assure you that we will be back to our normal format and we'll do a full review of KISS Cruise Landlocked that will premiere on November 28th. Now, let's get to the 90s. Battleborn is a collaborative effort among like-minded individuals and organizations intent on repairing and restoring people who have served our country. We do this by delivering a unique level of support and guidance to those servicemen and women who have emotional and psychological wounds. We provide support directly and indirectly in collaboration with others in our community who value those who have served this nation and its communities. For more information, go to wearebattleborn.com. Father Rocco.
Yes.
The guy who always wants to start at the beginning. So I lined this up just for you so we could start with something that you actually like. Are you ready?
I am ready.
Great. 1990, AC/DC, The Heat Seekers.
Oh, you're even starting with the A, the letter A to start at the beginning.
See that?
I like that.
I'm trying to make the superstar of the Hooligan Nation podcast happy with me. Okay.
Who's the superstar?
Oh, you are definitely the superstar. How many times do I have to say you slide into film and you slide out? See you next week. You're the superstar.
I'm also the target, though. So it asks for your content.
Well, that's the price you pay for being the superstar.
There are times where I feel like there's like a bullseye just right around me here sometimes.
If you and I would do an autograph session, everybody would come to you for an autograph. They just look at me like, dude, you missed this while you edited.
Oh, that's not true because they know how much work you do on your editing.
No, they don't know. And thank God that they don't know. But I would love to take them along with me so everybody can see the hours and hours and hours and hours and hours and hours and hours that it takes to do it.
You're making me sleepy.
So anyway, AC/DC, The Heat Seekers, singles, Thunderstruck. Woo! Great song.
Yep.
Another one, criminally underrated, Money Talks.
Good song.
Love it. Peaked at number 2 in the US. Peaked at number 4 in the UK.
They were lower in the UK. Wow, that's surprising.
Money Talks. Are you familiar with that song?
Money Talks. I've heard the song before.
I love that song.
Yeah, no, that's a good song.
They don't play it live, but I love that song.
If I'm being honest, I think that was more of a song thing for me. I don't know if I really dove too much into that album, but they're both really good songs. Thunderstruck and Money Talks are both really good songs.
Next up, Megadeth, Rust in Peace. Singles, Holy Wars, Hangar 18, peaked at number 23 in the US and was certified platinum. This is a very good album. I know you don't like Dave Mustaine's voice, but I love Rust in Peace.
I like Dave Mustaine. I like his guitaring, and I love Peace Cells. But yeah, the voice is just.
Everybody loves Peace Cells. I think Dave Mustaine probably gets tired of everybody loving Peace Cells. Like Peace Cells is like Megadeth's Rock and Roll All Night. Next up, Judas Priest, Painkiller. Singles, Painkiller, A Touch of Evil. It was certified gold in the U.S. Father Rocco, take it away.
I listened to that album like crazy. It actually was a very heavy album, and believe it or not, from what I can remember, they got criticized for it being too heavy. Which, from what I remember, I was like, "What are you talking about? Like, it's not."
I don't know if Judas Priest can be too heavy.
That album was thunder, and I like almost "Ram It Down" is another good song. Like, there's a lot of good songs on that album, and every one of them are like very powerful, very heavy. And I think I don't know how I know you said it went gold, but from what I remember, friends of mine around like it looked like that they were talking about like saying they tried too hard to be heavier, and I was like, I don't know, I didn't feel it. I thought it was a really good album.
I thought it was good too. I just like Judas Priest.
Me too.
I'm on record as saying that I like Turbo, and I do like Turbo, but I also like Painkiller, and I even like where is it? Nostradamus.
Is that the one you had listened to a couple songs? That's the newest one, right?
No. The newest one is Invincible, which again I think is really
Yeah,
good.
you had me listen. There was a couple good songs from what I remember. I didn't really dive deep, but I thought it was really good. I know we're getting off the beaten path, which we never do.
We're getting off the beaten path? How dare us for doing something like that? Next up, Pantera, Cowboys from Hell.
Good album.
Singles, Cowboys from Hell, Cemetery Gates, Psycho Holiday. Peaked at number 27, US 2 times platinum, and it was gold in the United Kingdom. Dude, I'm not a huge Pantera fan. I have said this before, but this is a great album, and Cowboys from Hell and Cemetery Gates are two really, really good Pantera songs.
I think it's very important to add to that when you think Cowboys from Hell, like that takes all the press on Pantera for that album in that year, but that whole album is very good album.
Yes. Yeah, it is. It is a very good album. The fact that it was 2 times platinum does not surprise me because there were mildly radio friendly songs, Cowboys from Hell and Cemetery Gates, especially for the time in 1990.
Yeah, I mean, I would say that's probably that from what I mean, I could be corrected on this, but I think that was their peak. Like it'd be hard to top that album from them. I think that was the band's peak in my opinion.
I definitely think it was their peak.
Yeah.
If their peak was different than Cowboys from Hell, I don't remember it, and I probably haven't heard it. But if you're a hooligan out there and you're a Pantera fan and you think we're wrong, drop it in the comments below and educate us, because we can be educated.
Absolutely.
Next up, Anthrax, Persistence of Time. Singles, In My World, Got the Time. Peaked number 24 in the U.S., certified gold in the U.S. Father Rocco, do you have anything?
I'd be lying if I didn't tell you that I'm a big fan of Anthrax and I like Anthrax a lot. I didn't have this album. I don't have a lot of information on it. The one thing I can say, and this epitomizes some of my interest in music, sometimes, especially with specific bands, I stay stuck in an old catalog. And with Anthrax, I was still listening to Spreading Disease and, the Indian, what the album Among the Living, right? Was that the other album?
Yes.
Yeah. I was back in those albums, and by this time I was kind of probably a little checked out, and I was stuck in their older stuff.
I don't want to get completely off topic, but I'm probably going to anyway. Isn't that crazy that the older you get, the less interest you have in new music?
From a certain artist.
I mean, I know you were talking about 1990, so I was 16. So that means that you were 20,
Yeah,
roughly?
roughly 20. But and it's also a different. It basically is a really different influx of music. That 90 really signified a lot of differences with music. So I can't even tell you what I was listening to. I mean, I was always listening to Kiss, but I can't
Well,
really even.
certain things never went away. Like
Yeah.
I personally never checked out of Kiss, but I checked out of a lot of the other stuff, but not in 1990. I started checking out 93, 94, 95. But I
Hmm.
love Anthrax.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of Anthrax.
Here comes the next one. I will just make the announcement and then I'll just go away. And when I come back in 20 minutes, you'll still be talking about it. So, Queensryche Empire, singles, Silent Lucidity, Jet City Woman, Empire, Another Rainy Night, Best I Can, peaked number 7 in the US, 3 times platinum. Before I let you go, great album. I do not like Queensryche. Great album. Great songs. Great, 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 great. One of the bands that I believe was annihilated by what would start coming out in 1991, unfortunately. If grunge doesn't come out, I think Queensryche was going up and the sky was the limit for them. Unfortunately, they got annihilated by grunge.
Well, and they ran into some drama with the band, like a band with drama, and Chris DeGarmo kind of separated from the band, was a big partner of Jeff Tate. But yeah, that album's great. The other thing about the album too
A
is
band with drama?
a band with drama.
Oh
But I
my
mean,
God.
that Chris DeGarmo was a big part of Queensryche, and he I think it went into being a pilot, and he took a break from music. Um, but the one thing that I can honestly say about this album too is this was a very big push of MTV. There was a lot of good videos that came from this album that helped this album a lot too. Silent Lucidity, that video was played an awful lot. Another Rainy Night was another one. Jet City Woman, like you had said, but a lot of them, I think all three of them had videos, if I remember correctly. Um, but yeah, there's no secret. I love Queensryche, um, and uh, the thing that Queensryche doesn't get enough credit for is how complete a band they are. Their drummer is good, their bassist is good. When you talk about production value and when you talk about a cohesive unit, I mean, even Queensryche now with a different singer, who used to be a drummer, um, they're just really good musicians and they put out a good product and really good music.
Yeah, you bring up a good subject about Queensryche. I don't believe that I've ever owned a Queensryche album, but I know all of these songs very well, which tells me they all must have had videos.
Out of all of their albums, this video wise, that's the biggest push I think out of all their albums when it came to video with them.
Number 7 in the US and 3 times platinum. Is this, do you think this is Queensryche's peak?
Studio album wise, yes. The Operation Mindcrime to me was the pinnacle of the band's. I mean, it was a concept album, and to me, they did their best work on that album completely. And between storyline, connecting the dots, and everything like that, commercially, studio, straight up rock and roll album, yeah, I think that was definitely their peak.
Next up, Iron Maiden, No Prayer for the Dying. Singles, Holy Smoke, Bring Your Daughter to the Slaughter. Number 1 in the UK. And I'm going to be honest, I don't know anything about this album. I
Me neither.
missed it completely.
But it's Iron Maiden, so I'm sure if we listen to it, I'm sure it's good. There's good stuff on there. They're another one of those bands that I compare like with Queensryche. You got Steve Harris, phenomenal bassist. You got Bruce Dickinson, one of the best rock and roll singers of all time that never gets the credit. Again, incredible musicians that put out a really good production with their sound and their music.
Yeah, can't argue with that. Next up, Scorpions, Crazy World, singles, Tease Me, Please Me, Wind of Change, and Send Me an Angel. Peaked at number 21 in the US. I love Send Me an Angel. I do.
I like both. I like Wind of Change and Send Me an Angel. I very commercially successful. Wind of Change is probably I think it's their biggest song that they ever did when it came commercial success. But it's not my favorite song of theirs. They got a lot of great songs, but Send Me an Angel is another. It's an underrated song in my opinion. It's a really good song too.
I love Send Me an Angel.
They're a
Love
really
it.
good band. They're another band that did they ever get a sniff at the Hall of Fame either?
No.
They're another great band. And I've said it before on this podcast. I've seen a lot of bands live. Nobody's ever come close to the clarity that Scorpions did at an outside stadium, a giant stadium. I'll never forget that.
Next up, Extreme, Extreme 2, Porno Graffiti, singles, Decadence Dance, Get the Funk Out, More Than Words, oh my God, Wholehearted, peaks number 10 in the US.
To me, they were an interesting band at that. They weren't for everybody, but they definitely had completely their own sound. I feel like they were on almost kind of like Tesla. They had their own complete sound, and you either dug them or you didn't. They were very commercially driven with the More Than Words and with Wholehearted, but I love both those songs. I mean, you know how I feel about More Than Words. I performed it out. Yeah, I mean, I'm a fan of Extreme, and Nuno Bettencourt is becoming more and more of the guitar god of this era too. So, but I don't think Extreme was for everybody, but you know they're a good band.
I think the best and worst thing that could have happened for Extreme was More Than Words.
Oh yeah, I mean that's their biggest hit.
And I don't think that's a good thing. And I don't think it's a terrible thing, but that was not only their biggest hit, but if I remember correctly, that was their first hit. So for people like me, for instance, I don't really have any memory of Extreme before More Than Words, and I didn't like the song. I can't tell you why, but I didn't like the song. And that made me blow them off. Like, I'm familiar with Get the Funk Out. I'm familiar with Wholehearted, which Wholehearted is
Another
more
ballad.
like More Than Words.
Yeah.
And I think they just got backed into a corner, and that's what everybody expected. And I don't, from what I know of Extreme, More Than Words is not what kind of band they are.
No,
And
it's not.
so I think people buy
They're like the Get the Funk Out. They're more like a funky hard rock, not even metal, but to me like a funky hard rock band.
right, and I think they garnered a lot of fans from More Than Words.
It's softened their product. It's softened who they were.
Well, I don't know if it softened who they were,
Who
but
they were thought to be.
it maybe softened their fan base that came in from More Than Words and said, "What the hell is all of this?" Like they expected 10 or 12 different versions of songs like More Than Words, and they didn't get that.
Right.
So I think that probably hurt them a lot. Next up, Winger, In the Heart of the Young. Singles, Can't Get Enough, Miles Away, Easy Come, Easy Go, peaked number 15 in the US, certified platinum in the US. And here's another band. I've seen Winger live, and Winger is a very tight, very musically good band. I've seen them probably like maybe 3 times over the last, I don't know, maybe 10 or so years. And they're really good. I don't know why they get beat up. They're one of those bands that are considered like the poster children for hair metal, which kind of makes me laugh because if you track back, Kip Winger, he came from Alice Cooper's band. I don't understand why he gets labeled as one of the poster children for hair metal, but when you think about it, it's like Poison and then Winger. And what definitely didn't help Winger out was Beavis and Butthead. That definitely hurt. Why are you looking at me like that? Come on,
Because
man.
I don't know what you mean.
Come on. The geek that was wearing the Winger shirt that Beavis and Butthead used to make fun of all the time.
I remember Beavis and Butthead. I don't remember that. It's been a long time, dude. What's it, 30 years since we've seen Beavis and Butthead?
Uh, well, you should brush up on that. Yes. So Beavis and Butthead, one of them wore a Metallica shirt, and I don't remember what the other one wore. And then the geek kid that they picked on wore a Winger shirt. That probably did not help Winger out at all.
That whole hair band thing, like I classify, I clump them all together as my music. I don't that whole hair band thing has always pissed me off. I like bands like Poison, I like Metallica. I group them all together for me. I don't. There were so many titles they tried to label on things, and it doesn't do anything for me.
No, and I think it hurt them. I think and we've discussed this before that I can never remember a band labeling themselves. Like you ask them, what kind of band are you? We're a rock and roll band. Doesn't matter whether you are discussing Metallica or Kiss or Extreme or Winger or Poison or whatever. What kind of band are you? We're a rock and roll band. Like they don't
Right.
want the labels.
Right.
And not to go back to another subject, but look, we just discussed in the Wednesday segment about Kiss recording a demo of a country song. When you label yourself as a certain brand of, let's say, a subgenre of music, I think it's harder to explore other avenues. When you say, hey, we're a rock and roll band, you're still going to get criticized because that's just the way the world works. But I think you're going to get criticized less by doing that. And that hair metal thing. Number one, half the bands that they labeled as hair metal weren't hair metal. Kiss
That's
was
what I'm
not a
saying.
hair
Like,
metal
yeah,
band.
yeah. That's why, like, I don't. They can keep their labels. I got music I like that I consider my music, my core music, and music that I don't. And you know what? I'll put Judas Priest and Poison in the same category for myself because I like both bands. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? I don't need to separate them.
yeah. It's a Victor Ruiz statement. There's good music and there's bad music.
Absolutely.
Doesn't matter what label you want to put on it. The real label is, hey, do you like it or do you not like it? Next up, Firehouse. Firehouse. Singles, Shake and Tumble, Don't Treat Me Bad, Love of a Lifetime, All She Wrote, certified 2 times platinum in the US.
How many times have you been to a wedding and Love of a Lifetime is the wedding song?
Oh my God.
That song, talk about a song that was like a big, powerful thing that carried a band. They struck gold with that song.
But again, just like Extreme, that's not who Firehouse is. And
Right.
if you listen to Firehouse's records, you know, my opinion, and I'm a Firehouse man. My opinion is the rest of these songs, Shake and Tumble, Don't Treat Me Bad, All She Wrote, are better than Love of a Lifetime.
I look at them, if you take Love of a Lifetime out, they're a party band. They're a
Yes.
good groove party band.
Yep. And God rest his soul, CJ Snare.
Yeah.
I saw Firehouse twice live, and they were incredible live. Incredible. Not even kidding. Firehouse is very good live. They do have a new lead singer now. I can't remember his name off the top of my head. They did put out, I don't know if they put out a full album or just a single, which was really good earlier in the year, but
Yeah, we actually put it on the podcast. It was a good song.
yeah. CJ Snare was a really good singer live. The whole band was good. And Love of a Lifetime to me, probably fifth, sixth favorite song. I mean, there's that many songs that I think are better on all of their albums,
Well, I mean
actually.
that song fits a vibe, like, but you know what I mean, like
Oh, if it's a vibe.
it fits a vibe. But if you listen for the core, what they are, you're right. It's not.
You gotta dim the music. Next up, Poison, Flesh and Blood. Singles, Unskinny Bop, Something to Believe in, Ride the Wind, Life Goes On. Peaked number 2 in the US, 3 times platinum. First, I hate Unskinny Bop. Hate it, can't stand it, despise it. Any
I
word
got
you can come up with,
I kind of like it.
I hate it. But Something to Believe in and
I
Ride
love
the
that.
Wind.
I love that song.
Ride the Wind is probably my favorite, second favorite Poison song. Great stuff to me.
I love the
Great,
lyrics and something to believe in.
great album. Great everything.
Yeah.
They're supposed to be going out for their 40th anniversary next year. And again, Hooligans, if you've never seen Poison live, get out to see Poison because they are 10 times better live. And Bret Michaels has the energy that I don't know where it comes from. Just you like to talk all the time about frontmen.
Absolutely.
He's up there with the best frontmen to me. I saw them twice in a smaller venue. And then the third time I saw them on the stadium tour, opening up for Motley Crue and Def Leppard. And follow me here. Follow me for a minute before you decide that I'm crazy. The stage never got too big for Bret Michaels. And I love Five Finger Death Punch. Love them. I saw Five Finger Death Punch 3 or 4 times. And not that I saw them in small places, but I saw Five Finger Death Punch like at Hershey Park, which is not a small place, but it's not a huge place. And then they opened up for Metallica on the 72 Seasons tour. And Five Finger Death Punch was really good, but the stage seemed to be too big for them. They seemed to be out of sync, out of sorts. It seemed that it was because the stage was huge. And that may sound crazy to people, but the point that I'm getting to is I saw Poison at a small place and I saw Poison at a stadium gig with a huge stage, and they were just as good in both places. And I think there's something to be said for that.
Sure. Well, you got to own that stage. I mean, if that's what they, I mean, you've seen enough concerts to be able to decipher who, who's owning the stage and who's not.
Next up, Warrant, Cherry Pie. Singles, Cherry Pie, I Saw Red, Uncle Tom's Cabin, Blind Faith, peaked at number 7 in the US, certified 2 times platinum.
Great album. Sad what happened to Janie Lane, but great album. Cherry Pie, great video.
Bobby Brown. And you know what? Again, Cherry Pie isn't even, I don't think, the best song. Uncle Tom's Cabin is a very good song.
Yeah.
I Saw Red is a perfect power ballad that was very popular in those times. Warrant was another band that was completely criminally underrated.
Yeah.
And if you need to wonder why drugs are bad, all you got to do is look at Janie Lane.
Yeah.
Next up, Cinderella, Heartbreak Station. Singles, Shelter Me, Heartbreak Station, peaked 19 on the US charts, certified US platinum. Much better album than it gets credit for. Cinderella was a much better band than they get credit for. I'll say it again. Cinderella absolutely 100% was not a hair metal band. Cinderella's music holds up the test of time. And they also got, I think, backed into a corner. And that's probably what really destroyed them And it's unfortunate because if grunge doesn't come out and they don't get labeled as something that now everybody woke up and decided to hate, I think Cinderella could have took off and become very, very big.
Yeah, I don't remember Heartbreak Station. I do remember, I mean, I definitely consider myself a fan of Cinderella because there's a lot of good music. To be honest with you, I'm going to write this one down because I don't remember this album, but I do like Cinderella. I'm sure there's going to be a lot in there I like.
Next up, Rat, Detonator, Singles, Loving You's a Dirty Job, Shame, 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 Giving Yourself Away, peaked at number 30 on the Billboard 200, and take it away.
I was disappointed with it. Like, I don't know about you. DeMartini's always going to be one of my favorite guitar players of all time. And I was looking so much, I was looking for another Out of the Cellar. It's not a bad album, but to me, it's too much. The best way I can describe it is too much shucking and jiving, too much goofy songs, and not enough edgy songs like they had the ability to do.
Wow, look at you. Too much shucking and jiving.
Lay it
I
down.
l-
There's put it this way. There's no lay it down on that album. And it's
I
one of
like I like Loving You's a Dirty Job.
it's goofy.
I actually like Shame, Shame, Shame too, I think.
I don't know. I didn't get the same vibe and the same feel from. I'm not saying it's a bad album, but for what I was, maybe my expectations were too high.
Next up, oh, Damn Yankees. Damn Yankees. Singles, High Enough, Coming of Age, Come Again. Peaked number 13 on the US chart, certified 2 times platinum. This was this was an all-star band.
All-star band. Tommy Shaw, Ted Nugent.
Who's the other guy?
Great album. Oh, damn it.
Damn, who the hell was the other guy?
From what you call it? From
Night Ranger.
Night Ranger. I can't remember his name, but yeah, that was a match made in heaven because that whole album was great. And again, MTV really loved him too.
Yeah, well, how can you not love him? I mean, High Enough was an epic journey type of song. You know what I mean? Like it's a song that took you on a journey, and great video.
Yeah,
great video for High Enough.
Again, the Guitar Hero stuff with Ted, that was fantastic.
Oh, yeah. And we'll end 1990 on something that you can talk about because I don't know nothing about it. Alice in Chains, Facelift, Singles, We Die Young, Man in the Box, Sea of Sorrow, Bleed the Freak, peaked US charts number 42, and go.
Will only be coming in my top 10 of all time albums, to be honest with you. I absolutely love it. There's not a song on that album that I won't eventually know how to play and sing. I mean, and I don't know if you remember this, but it seemed like every time, and it was early on, we were still going to a lot of concerts, and it seemed like every time we'd go see a concert and we'd see the opening act, intermission would happen, lights would go on, and you'd hear Man in the Box from Alice in Chains.
Well, that's true.
Every single time. And in a way, it didn't fit. It didn't make sense because you're listening to grunge, and most of the time we were at a metal concert. So
yeah, it didn't matter what kind of concert you were at.
Right.
They for some reason, arenas, venues loved that song.
Yeah, and if you give it a chance, if you give that album a chance, that album to me, and I'm going to say something that you're going to think is probably blasphemous, to me, as far as Alice in Chains go, that album is an Appetite for Destruction type of album.
Oh hell no! Stop it.
It is. Have you listened to it?
No.
Then you can't say. It's along the same kind of vein. Every song is really, really good. It's not, different songs, but it's a legendary album. Just that's my own personal opinion. It's a legendary album.
Damn it, you keep your opinions to yourself. Oh wait.
Wait, we're on an opinion type of podcast.
Oh, no, it isn't an opinion type of podcast. It's all about our opinion, and our opinion is the only one that counts.
Opinions are like...
Yeah, they are. Yep. All right, let's roll right into 1991, and let's start it off with the album that we could spend the rest of the night talking about. Metallica, The Black Album. Enter Sandman, The Unforgiven, Nothing Else Matters, Wherever I May Roam, Sad But True, and every other song on the album.
We are going to have a lot of fun when we review that album. What can you say about that? I mean,
It's perfection.
it's perfection.
It's
Totally
perfection. I can honestly say if I'm listening to the radio and Enter Sandman comes on, I turn it off because
heard it too much.
I've heard it too much. Now live, I could hear them play it 4 times in a row live. It's great. But all of these songs, I think Metallica, think hardcore Metallica fans kind of sometimes beat them up for changing the sound and venturing out of one certain sound. And this album is the perfect example, at least in my opinion.
Would you say that I'm a hardcore Metallica fan?
I would.
To me, this is the KISS factor.
But it's not only the KISS factor. I think it's the musicianship factor.
Right, but you know where I'm going with this. Like, they're giving me different flavors of ice cream.
But I think Metallica is the type of band that likes to challenge themselves.
Oh, that's for sure.
And if you just keep creating, Master of Puppets over and over again, I don't think a band like Metallica is interested in that. I mean, I've said this 100 times and I know it. 72 Seasons is such a good album. And it is such a good album to me because they went back 30 years, maybe even more, 35, 40 years, because they can, because they are good enough that they can do that.
Well, one thing, and I know you'll agree with this, and I've said this before on the podcast, one thing that I've always loved about Metallica from the very start, from Ride the Lightning, from Kill 'Em All, like at their heaviest, they had melody. I believe that's the secret sauce in their music. They can be as heavy as they want, but they always have that melodicness to their music.
Let me float something crazy to you that just popped in my head. Did Mustaine ever sing when he was in Metallica?
Just from what I remember, just backups. He wasn't not in the early part. He might have done, like they did I don't know if you heard, but they did a lot of punk stuff. And he may have done something like Brett Fan, I think. I forget the name of that. I think it was
But can you imagine if Mustaine would have stayed in the band and they would have had 2 lead singers, like almost like KISS does it. And look, Metallica doesn't need any help. Metallica is officially, in my opinion, the kings of heavy metal right now. And they will be until they retire or they're all gone.
Yeah, it's hard. Not like your Judas Priest fans, your Iron Maiden fans would battle you with that.
I don't even think they can battle.
No, I'm saying that they would say, they were there first and all that kind of stuff, and I love them too.
They were there first,
but the masses, again, we always goes to the masses. The masses give Metallica the edge.
But can you imagine how much bigger and how much more incredible the catalog would have been if you put Megadeth and Metallica together?
The only thing I'll say, and this is actually something worth searching for, I could be wrong, but I believe that Dave Mustaine sang with Megadeth due to necessity. I don't think he viewed himself as a singer early on. I don't think he intended on being the singer of Megadeth originally. I don't think he intended on being a singer. He was all about playing guitar, to the best of my knowledge. I mean, it's worth researching. I'm not going to say that I'm definite about this, but from what I gather, that's what I think.
Yeah, boy, I'm going to be thinking about that quite often. And maybe, hey, James, if you want to come on the Hooligan Nation podcast, we would love to ask you the question of did Dave Mustaine sing in Metallica ever? And what you think about the mashup of Megadeth and Metallica catalogs if you guys would have stayed together. And that will definitely kill any chance of James Hetfield coming on this podcast ever. Next up, Guns N' Roses, Use Your Illusion 1. Went to number 2 on the U.S. charts. Notable singles, Don't Cry, Live and Let Die, November Rain. Both Illusions together were 7 times platinum. Now, I know you checked out.
I'm not going to say that those are bad songs. There's good songs on both versions, but yeah, it wasn't really my bag at that point.
To me, Use Your Illusion 1 and 2, you know what? Let's just do them together. Use Your Illusion 2 debuted US number 1, and the singles were You Could Be Mine, Knocking on Heaven's Door, Civil War, Estranged, and Yesterdays. My opinion of Use Your Illusion 1 and Use Your Illusion 2 is if they would have condensed them to be one album, it would be close to being as good as Appetite. The fact that they spread it out between 2 albums, I think it hurt them because, you know, if you just look, Don't Cry is a great song. Live and Let Die, great song. November Rain, great song. You Could Be Mine, great song. Knocking on Heaven's Door, epically great song. Civil War, Estranged, Yesterdays. I mean, what do you got? You got like 7 or 8 songs right there. Those are 7 or 8 great songs. Great songs. And to me, the best one is You Could Be Mine. And in my opinion, the best version of You Can Be Mine is the live version. It's an incredibly amazing version of that song. The fact that they made it 2 albums probably was a little too much.
Yeah, again, I can't deny that. I mean, again, that was also a big MTV push with some of those songs too. They were good songs. Civil War's a good song. Knocking on Heaven's Door. November Rain is a little bit too long, but it's still a good song. And the thing I like about November Rain is the video and Slash, even though that was at a point where that I felt like, again, I feel like there's a saying, too much, bro. To me, they did too much on some of this stuff, but I can't deny that the 7 songs you talk about are good songs. I can't deny that, but again, I wasn't really feeling Guns N' Roses at this point.
Next up, Ozzy Osbourne, No More Tears. Number 7 in the US, number 17 in the UK, 4 times platinum. Singles, No More Tears, Mama I'm Coming Home, Road to Nowhere, Time After Time. No More Tears is a great song. Mama I'm Coming Home is an incredibly great song. Zakk Wylde, just another amazing find by Ozzy and Sharon. Just a great Ozzy album, if you ask me.
Absolutely, great album.
And next up, Van Halen for Unlawful Carnal Knowledge, number 1 on the U.S. charts. Pound Cake, Run Around, Right Now, 3 times platinum. Oh, it was only 3 times platinum. It was probably a letdown for them. This Pound Cake is probably the hardest song that Van Halen ever made. And I love that little change to going more hardcore. And it's a shame that it all starts to fall apart because I truly believe if Sammy and Eddie would have stayed together a few more years, it would have only gotten better.
Oh yeah, I don't think that's deniable. Number one, Eddie was the consummate musician wanting to continue to evolve, and Sammy was able to hang there right with them, and they actually fed off each other. Like it basically gave Eddie a whole nother gear.
Yeah, I think that's a really good take on that because I think you're right. Eddie and Sammy together would have. I mean, you saw in the prior albums that they ventured into places that the DLR Van Halen would have never gone.
Right.
I'm sure part of that is the fact that Sammy can sing anything, and Eddie sure as hell can play anything.
Well, and it's weird if you look back, and I think most Van Halens, even Van Halens that are David Lee Roth fans, bigger David Lee Roth fans, the alpha male in Van Halen's early infancy was David. It wasn't Eddie. you look back, David had a lot of pull because Eddie. There were times Eddie wanted to play keyboard and wanted to like open up more. And what was Dave's famous saying? "You're a guitar god. Nobody wants to hear you do that shit."
Yeah, obviously, I'm shocked, but David Lee Roth was wrong. Next up, Skid Row, Slave to the Grind. Oh my God. First metal album to debut at US #1. 2 times platinum, singles, Monkey Business, Slave to the Grind, Wasted Time, In a Darkened Room. Again, criminally underrated album. By far, Skid Row's hardest album. A great, great album. If they could have just gotten along.
I was gonna say the same thing.
Yeah.
That band could have been huge.
Yeah, it's a shame, but it is a great album with great songs on it. And we have it, and they can't take it away from us.
Absolutely.
Next up, Tesla, Psychotic Supper. Number 13 on the US charts. Certified platinum. Singles, Edison Medicine, What You Give, Song and Emotion, Call It What You Want. Sound Like a Broken Record. I love Tesla.
They're,
And this is a great album.
to me, they're the one. They're even more than Motley Crue. This is gonna sound blasphemous, but even more than Motley Crue, they're the one band I never saw that I always wanted to see. Tesla is such an underrated band, in my opinion.
Next up, Alice Cooper, Hey Stupid, number 45 on the US charts. Certified platinum. Singles, Hey Stupid, Love's the Loaded Gun, Feed My Frankenstein. You know, only Alice can sing about goofy things like Feed My Frankenstein and Keep My Interest. And he definitely did that. Alice is another guy that can change his sound anytime he wants. And at least for me, I like all different sounds. I think it's another great album. Next up, Great White, Hooked. Singles, Call It Rock and Roll, Desert Moon, Loving Kind, Congo Square. Reached number 18 on the US charts and certified gold. This is not my favorite Great White album, but I do like Great White a lot as a band.
Yeah, party band. They're a feel good band.
Yep, absolutely.
I mean, not the way that what's his name went out, but Jack Russell.
Yeah. Jack Russell was a great front man too. It's a shame.
He was meant for that.
And we slide right into 1992. Pantera, Vulgar Display of Power. Reached number 44 on the US charts. Mouth for War, Walk, and This Love. Again, I'm not a huge Pantera fan, but I do like Walk, and I do like This Love. And Pantera is a great band. They were a great band. They're Pantera 2.0, and I never saw Pantera live, but I saw Pantera 2.0 live, and I did dig it, I have to admit.
Yeah, if I'm being honest, the only album I really was versed in Pantera was Cowboys from Hell.
Next up, Megadeth, Countdown to Extinction, Symphony of Destruction single.
Love that song. Love that
Foreclosure of a Dream, Sweating Bullets, and Skin on My Teeth. I love Sweating Bullets. I like this album too.
I've listened to that album a lot. That album's a good album.
Yeah, I mean, for me, I like everything that Dave Mustaine does, because everything comes with an attitude. Next up after that, Alice in Chains, Dirt, number 6, and singles, Wood, Them Bones, Angry Chair, Rooster, and Down in a Hole. And well, I hope that you can shed some light on this, because I sure as hell can't.
Again, I mean, I'm very biased. I'm a huge fan of Alice in Chains. The little band that I have going on right now, a lot of the stuff we're doing, we're actually starting to become like an Alice in Chains cover band, actually. But these are songs we're going to be doing. It's Wood, Them Bones, Angry Chair, Rooster, Down in a Hole. I mean, there's like another three good songs that are really good on that album too. Yeah. Again, I'm biased because I'm really becoming a really huge Alice in Chains fan.
Next up, Def Leppard, Adrenalize, #1 in the US. Singles, Let's Get Rocked, Make Love Like a Man, Have You Ever Needed Someone So Bad, Stand Up, Kick Love into Motion, and Tonight. How do I put this?
There's not much I don't like of Def Leppard. I'm a big fan of Def Leppard.
Yeah, this might be one of my least favorite Def Leppard albums, but it's still got a lot of good songs on it, and Let's Get Rocked is one of them.
Again, they're another one of those bands, other than their very first album that didn't sound anything like they sound now, but they're another band, melodic. They always had good
Oh,
melodies in everything they do.
yeah, and they do very well with that layered vocal that
Absolutely.
makes them sound so big.
Yeah.
That's just
It's another case too of guys, the people that came together for that band were meant to be.
next up. What do I want to go to? Rage Against the Machine, #45 in the US. Killing in the Name, Bomb Track, Bullet in the Head, and Freedom. Nicest thing I can say about Rage Against the Machine is I am a huge Tom Morello fan.
I knew you were going there.
Nothing against their lead singer, but I just was never into Rage Against the Machine.
I like that album. It's actually a very unique. It. I would say that album itself is, like you have cult followings and movies and things like that. To me, it's a cult album because it's a very unique album. Killing in the Name of, like, it's catchy. It's not my style of music I would tend to go for. Again, Tom Morello's, we all love Tom Morello. How can you be a Kiss fan and not love Tom Morello?
Wow, I can't argue with you there. Next up, Bon Jovi, Keep the Faith, #5 in the US. Singles, Keep the Faith, Bed of Roses, In These Arms, I Believe, and Dry Country. You know, if you like what Bon Jovi does, this is just another great Bon Jovi album. They started to soften up a little bit, get a little crazy with
Yeah.
the ballads. Bed of Roses is a great ballad.
Yeah. Oh, no, I love, that's a great song. I agree with you there. But yeah, they definitely were losing a little bit of an edge and going a lot more for chasing hits.
This is one of those bands, and I've said it before in here, that I absolutely think got destroyed because of grunge. And that is Jackal's self-titled debut, which did not hit the US charts, but went platinum. Singles, The Lumberjack, Down on Me, When Will It Rain, I Stand Alone. Great songs, great album, great band, great live band. Still around, still busting it, probably 300 days a year. Still having fun out there. Still almost all, they're 3/4 original. And I believe the four of them have been together for at least 20 years in this version. Just a great hard rock band that has never gotten the credit that they deserve, and I am a huge fan of.
Again, I think that they're a band, and I obviously we've gotten to know them. We've done past episodes on Jackal. I think that they're a band that kind of got lost in the '90s a little bit. I think timing is everything, and I think that a little bit of different timing and a little bit of different push. They could have had a rise, kind of like maybe to the level of like Rat, possibly at the time, with a
I
little more
think
a little more of a push.
I think they could have been. I've said this before. I think if Jackal comes out in 1985, they are Rock and Roll Hall of Fame material.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely don't have enough cachet to be able to talk about that. So I'll leave that one to you.
Well, that's what I think. in my opinion, counts,
I didn't,
especially on this
I
podcast.
didn't say it didn't.
And we'll end Kiss Revenge. Reached number 6 on the U.S. charts. God Gave Rock and Roll to You, Unholy, Domino, I Just Wanna, and Every Time I Look at You. And I believe it was certified gold, although it doesn't say that here. Uh, it should have been 10 times platinum, if you ask me. Great album. Everything about it is great. From everything that I hear, you got to give credit to Larry Mazer, who came in as the manager and started to change things around, started to bring Gene back. Actually, he didn't want to bring Gene back. He wanted to bring the demon back. And he absolutely did that with Unholy. The cover of God Gave Rock and Roll to You Too. Every Time I Look at You, I Just Wanna, and more and more and more. It's a great, great album, in my opinion.
Yeah, my opinion too. And again, the Return of the Demon. Unholy is a great song. In some ways, I think it's an underrated Kiss album.
We'll start off 1993 with Aerosmith, Get a Grip. Singles, Living on the Edge, Eat the Rich, Crying, Amazing, Crazy, Shut Up and Dance. Billboard 200 peaked at number 1, certified 7 times platinum. It was the best-selling Aerosmith studio album worldwide. And it's the radio-friendly Aerosmith. I like it.
I think every song on there is good. Yeah, no, it's
a lot of older hardcore Aerosmith fans. This is when they start to dislike the band a little bit.
right.
They became more music video friendly, more radio friendly, but this is part of their resurgence after their drug filled
Yeah, I mean
'70s.
it's a feel good thing for. I mean, the Toxic Twins. I mean, you didn't think they were gonna be around long the way that. I mean, they were legendary partiers, and he came out the other side, and to me that's a celebration of him coming out of out of the abyss and being healthy and taking advantage of a time. I mean, those songs are really good.
Next up, here's one of those albums that I hope uh, our hooligans will give another chance, and that is Poison, Native Tongue. It is their only album with Richie Kotzen. Singles stand, Until You Suffer Some, Fire and Ice, and Body Talk. Number 16 on the Billboard 200, certified gold in the US. And I think it's a criminally underrated Poison album. It's not their best work, but it's sure as hell not their worst. And I think Richie Kotzen brought a different element to the band. Unfortunately, it just didn't sell.
Yeah, definitely didn't experience that album. I just wrote it down to listen to.
Candlebox peaked number 7 on the US 200 charts, certified 4 times platinum. Singles, Change, You, Far Behind, and Cover Me. And I don't really have much of a clue about Candlebox, so Father Rocco, take it away.
That was definitely a peak for them. Far Behind was a song that was played an awful lot. I think very good band, and actually Change is another good one. All three of those singles are really good singles, but from any Candlebox fan will remember Far Behind because they played that like crazy on MTV.
Yeah, I must have checked out.
Good, very good band though. I don't think that I don't know if they ever came close to the success they had in 80 and 93 with that album because that song Far Behind was a very commercial hit. I don't think that I don't even know if they're still together, but I don't know if they did much after that or had much success after that.
We'll slide right into 1994. Again with Pantera, Far Beyond Driven, singles on Broken, 5 Minutes Alone, Planet Caravan, peaked at number 1 and was certified platinum. And now we get into the popular sound starts to change right about now. If you look, like the hair metal starts to go away, seriously go away. And now we're more into hardcore, rougher sounding records. I mean, uh, Pantera peaking at number one, like that's crazy. Same thing with the next one, Soundgarden, Super Unknown, Single, Spoonman, Black Hole Sun, The Day I Tried to Live, My Way, My Wave, Fell on Black Days, again, peaked at number one and certified 6 times platinum. It's crazy.
Now I love that.
Everybody knows Black Hole Sun. Everybody knows Spoonman. I know them.
Fell on Black Days is another great song.
But peaking at number one and 6 times platinum blows my mind. 5 years earlier, there's no way that that even hits the top 50. And I would be surprised if it was platinum. But the music landscape had changed. Next one, this is also one of those records that I really wanted to put a spotlight on, which is one of the reasons why we did this. Motley Crue's self-titled. Specifically, look, it peaked at number 7. It was certified gold in the US. This is the only album that they made with John Corabi. And I will say that this album is one of those albums that grows on you. It has to be listened to over and over. It was wildly unpopular at the time. I always loved Hooligans Holiday. Like, any hooligans out there? Oh, any hooligans out there? Oh, look at that. Huh. Where can I go with that? Any hooligans out there that dismissed that Motley Crue album because Vince Neil wasn't on it or for whatever reason, put Hooligans Holiday on and just listen to the drums. And if it does not bring you back to Creatures of the Night, I don't know what will, because those are the largest, loudest, biggest drums I have ever heard. Hooligans Holiday. Just check that out. Listen to that. If you like that, give the rest of the record a chance. No, it's not. It's not the Motley Crue that most Motley Crue fans love, but Corabi did bring something very original to that band. And it's unfortunate because I've heard over the years that when they brought Vince Neil back, they were actually entertaining keeping Corabi in the band because as a second guitar player and having 2 lead vocals, and I would have loved to see how that would have turned out. But the way I heard it, Vince wasn't going for that. And I don't blame him.
I don't blame him. That's an interesting concept, though.
Next up, Tesla, Bust a Nut, Singles, Mama's Fool, Need Your Lovin'. Peaked at number 20, certified gold. Look, I'll explain this like everything else. I love Tesla. I love everything that Tesla has ever put out. Great album, like all of their albums to me. Next up, Alice in Chains, Jar of Flies. Singles, No Excuses, I Stay Away, Don't Follow. First EP ever to debut at number 1 on the Billboard 200. Father Rocco, take it away. Don't know nothing about it.
They were definitely in their lane there. No Excuses is a huge song. Don't Follow is another really popular song. They were definitely in their lane right now, taking advantage of the times. There's not a lot of bad stuff. There's not a lot of stuff that they do that I don't like. It really hits me. And I've said this to you before. It hits me for a lot of reasons because Jerry Cantrell, I've said it over and over again. If you listen to Alice in Chains and you focus on just Jerry Cantrell's guitaring, you hear a lot of Ace. You really do. He uses a lot of Ace's techniques. And maybe that's part of the reason why I'm really, really drawn to them a lot. But that album's another great album. They don't have a lot of throwaways on their albums. Like you got to give it a chance because sometimes you have to warm up to some of their stuff because there's like a concept in the beginning early on, and then it starts growing and growing, and then I don't know. Like I said, that's another really good album.
You know, you keep beating this down makes me want to give Alice in Chains a chance. Just to listen to Jerry Cantrell to see if I can pick up the Ace end of it.
I heard an interview with him, and he talks about how much of an influence Ace was, and he's talked about Ace a lot. And then you all of a sudden you start listening, and just the flavor and the spots that he puts his solos with, not going too much, not going to, like, it's a different style of music. Don't get me wrong, and you have to, like, if you're not versed on them, you'd have to really give it a chance and listen. But I'd be hard pressed if you didn't listen to like three songs, random songs, and not hear the influence.
Next up, normally I would cut this out and not put this in here, but because it was so big, I had to. Stone Temple Pilots, Purple, singles, Vaseline, Interstate Love Song, Big Empty, Unglued, peaked at #1, 6 times platinum. And look, I'm not a Stone Temple Pilots fan, but I know almost every song. Scott Weiland is another one of those guys. He was a great, great, great front man. Unfortunately, kids, drugs are bad. Oh, next up, Jackal, Push Comes to Shove. Singles, Push Comes to Shove, Headed for Destruction, #46. The title track hit #7 on the mainstream charts. I'm biased. Another great album. Jackal never tried to reinvent the wheel in any way. They're straightforward Southern hard rock, and I just like everything they do.
The one thing that I can say about music, at least from my perspective, I stay in my lane. And a lot of times I get stuck in older catalogs, which some of these bands from the very beginning of what we did to now, some of these bands, I may have still been listening to these bands, but I'm listening to like older album, Rage for Order with Queensryche, or I'm listening, you know what I mean? Like some of the stuff that I really love from some of these bands, their stuff from the older catalogs was so good that I never got past it listening to some of the new stuff.
Well, you know, I'm adverse to change personally a lot of times. And I can remember very vividly that during the 90s, when bands started to come out with things that were greatly different, I went back and stayed there because I wasn't in love with it. You know, I bought the Motley Crue album for an example, and I loved Hooligans Holiday. I remember I loved Hooligans Holiday the first time that I heard it, and it is in a regular rotation ever since for me. It took me probably 20 years before I gave the rest of that album a legitimate chance. And legitimate chance, I mean, you know, listen to it 2, 3, 4 times. Like I listened to it when it came out, and I picked Hooligans Holiday for the song that I liked, and I moved on. And that was that. And then, you know, I feel like you're trying to drive grunge down my throat, and I was adverse to that happening. So Alice in Chains never got a chance. Soundgarden never got a chance. These bands never got a chance from me.
I fought it when Nirvana came out. I fought it. I was angry at it, and then I've said this before. All of a sudden, something made me start listening to Pearl Jam's 10, and it opened the floodgates. And I appreciate it. You know, again, I'm a mood guy when it comes to music. So like I'll get into certain moods and I want to listen to Billy Joel, or I'll get in some moods and I want to listen to Metallica. I'll get in some moods and I want to listen to The Cure. It depends on my mood. My core is always going to be Kiss, is always going to be hard rock.
No, but for instance, I would say that Revenge, I probably liked Revenge more than anything that Kiss did, let's say from 85 to that point.
Well, when did Lick
I-
It Up? Because Lick It Up was good. When did Lick It Up come
Lick It
out?
Up was 83, and Animalized was 84, and then Asylum, Crazy
Yeah.
Nights.
I loved Asylum. After Asylum, then you got me.
Yeah, like I started not check out, but if I was to compare Asylum to Revenge, I like Revenge much better. And then Crazy Nights, like I like Crazy Nights, but not as much as I like Revenge.
The Crazy Nights to me is selected songs off the album. It's not the album.
Hooligans, got to be honest with you, we were selective this time around. We didn't talk about a lot of albums that Father Rocco and I don't have a clue about. And we didn't want this to be another 12-hour thing. We're cutting this down into 2 episodes. So this is episode 1. Episode 2, which will be from 95 to 99, will come next week. So if you like an album that we have not covered, drop it in the comments below. Let it be recognized. I know there's a lot of albums that we left out.
Yeah, it's an opportunity for you guys to get your input and say, hey, listen, guys, you missed this one. You got to check this one out. Give us something that we want, that we missed, that that's going to turn us onto something new.
And that's what we're doing it for. I mean, that's where the idea, like the 80s was us reliving our childhood. The 90s was, we just felt like a lot of albums did not get the chance that they probably should have deserved. And that was, we understand that version of hard rock and heavy metal was on its way out. Grunge came in and swallowed up everything. And you know what? I've said this before on this show, and I'll say it again. Grunge didn't last that long because there ain't much grunge out there today. And I understand that death and drug addiction and probably had something to do with it. If you're listening to us on any of the podcast platforms, please leave us a review. And if you just found us, check out our past episodes. If you're watching us on our YouTube channel and you like this episode, please consider hitting the like button and leaving us a comment just like that guy. Hit that subscribe button just like that guy so you don't miss any future episodes, and check out these episodes right here. As always, if you made it this far, thank you for supporting us, and don't forget, we should all lead with love and take care of each other. Peace out, Hooligan Nation.